Mr. Speaker, thank you, and I stand to speak in favour of this Immigration Amendment Bill in the name of the Honourable Michael Woodhouse. For a moment, Mr. Speaker, I thought I would be able to stand and say that, it's nice to be able to agree with almost everything that Dennis O'Rourke said. And I did. But then what happened? He got to the end of it, and he said, but we're going to vote against it. Having said that it met his requirements, not quite tough enough in some directions, and then spoiled it all. Because I did have that line. Honestly, I've shared it with my friends. That's what I was going to say, Mr. O'Rourke. That's what I was going to say. And I listened with interest, though, to Andrew Little, to Darian Fenton, Jan Logie, and no, it was. I always liked listening to them. But the thing was, they expressed great concern, Mr. Speaker, great concern that we'd gone to the trouble of making this legislation and it was never, ever going to be used. Never going to be used because it would never, ever happen. So I wonder why they had quite so much concern if it's never going to happen. And so I think it's a little far-fetched and a little fanciful to say something will never happen. And it's responsible government it is a responsibility of government to be prepared. The policy package this bill forms, Mr. Speaker, is about two things. It's about deterring a mass arrival and about managing a mass arrival, should one occur. The bill is not anti-immigration.
That's right.
As an immigrant myself, in my own lifetime, surrounded by people whose parents or grandparents or great-grandparents were immigrants, I could not in good conscience support something I felt would move this country away from the inviting, understanding and multicultural nation that it indeed is. The Immigration Amendment Bill forms part of a package of measures aimed at deterring people smugglers, who are despicable individuals, and collectively as well, and asylum seekers from making a highly risky journey to New Zealand by boat. The bill would also enable the effective and efficient management of a mass arrival to our shores should one occur. My wife and I, Mr. Speaker, have been leading a lot about people smuggling and slavery. It goes on in far too great a volume, and people are extremely vulnerable if they land in a country with no identification, with no sense of security, and no knowledge of the country. We have a responsibility to look after them. It's our obligation to deter people from making wildly dangerous journeys, but it's also our obligation as a responsible government to plan how to handle those that do. This legislation is not, contrary to the expression of others, is not about punishing people with a genuine claim for refugee status, Mr. Speaker. It's about sending a strong message to people smugglers that they're not welcome here, their work is not required here, and the protection of the vulnerable boat people, including children, whose lives are put at risk. The appalling reality of these trips means that a higher number of lives lost at sea. And since 2009, 600 people have lost their lives that we know about, 600, on their way to seeking asylum in Australia. These people have been taken advantage of, and it's only right that we ensure that we're not encouraging such actions by stating that it's, quote, unlikely that these ruthless people, they'll do anything for the money, would attempt to land in New Zealand. They don't put themselves at risk, they just put their cargo at risk. We must not sit idly by and watch this happen. The bill is firm but fair and will work to undermine the ability of these deplorable people to continue to use our nation as a selling point for their risking of desperate lives. The New Zealand government is working hard across agencies and with international partners to ensure that the risk of mass arrivals and illegal immigrants in New Zealand is properly addressed and mitigated. I'm very proud to support this bill and its sentiments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Ian Lees-Galloway.
At 5 minutes in length, Mr.